That broken down and defeated, detergent, busy and confused, sleeping. You're dying while I wait you to get started on the journey chosen, wasted, now it's selected. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile. Sober, sad and jaded. They're not coming, they're broken down and defeated. You are dying while I wait you to get started. You are dying while I wait you to get started. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah. Crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile.
I'm a motherfucking unicorn, a one-of-one. Divide being the love and light, then light and one. My karma is interstellar, I live by truth. Fighting evil, my scars are living proof. Protecting you from the storms with all my might. Love me, I will treat you right. You ever cross me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. With my crown of thorns, I'll wreck you. I ain't playing, yo, Bryan hard, call me a saint. Too bad, Chris, because Bigfoot knows my name. I'm a messenger of God, with loyalty I serve, taking out all evil with his holy word. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Crossing Realms Conference is coming this September 19th and 20th to the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Tickets to this landmark event are on sale right now at Eventbrite. The powerful speaker lineup will cover topics from Bigfoot, UFOs, and aliens, so you will not want to miss attending this amazing 2-day inaugural event. Again, that's the Crossing Realms Conference, this September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Please mark your calendar and get your tickets before they vanish. Space is limited.
Holy Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who prowl through the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen and amen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Third Eye Live. Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. I'm broadcasting from New York City, where we never miss an opportunity here. They'll find out the hard way. And we have Mark Eddy from West Virginia, I believe, right?
That is correct.
That is correct. But let's bring on our
I'm
ladies
from the
because
swamp.
that's more important. The swamp. So let's bring on Brandi and Krista. We're doing alphabetical order, by the way, and they'll get the top squares for this Hollywood Squares 2-square division. Ladies, welcome to Third Eye Live. It's great. It's great to reverse the roles because I've been on your wonderful broadcast so many times, and I'm always honored when you say, "Hey, can you come on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always." You know, it's not even a second thought. And I'm always honored to be asked, but there are certain people in this world that become like family. You guys are it.
For sure.
You have a wonderful show. Yeah, no, it's great. And you do wonderful events. And what we just saw, the Crossing Realms promo, thank you, BMR, for sending it to me so I can download it and include it on the broadcast, because I am determined to help sell as many tickets as possible to this event. And if it wasn't for, I believe, you guys right up top, you ladies, really, really a lot going on in the background of this and setting it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to thank you and for that. And I think everybody needs, I would do the applause, but my applause button's down in the South. And I can't wait to get back down there. This is like hell. We lost water main break, so no water. Couldn't paint because it can't. Wash the brushes afterwards. Couldn't shower. Thank God it came back on. And then everything, they one air conditioner quit. I'm on the top floor of a building. So it's like an oven. You remember those easy bake ovens growing up?
I do.
Where you make that, I don't even know if you want to call it a cupcake, with a light bulb. That was pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hotter than the sun, and of course, before I started, I'm having technical issues with my microphone. While the intro is going, I'm looking at mics on Amazon. I'm like, what can I get now? What can I try now? So, but welcome, Krista and Brandi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in chat. I'm seeing comments like over 40 going on. The werewolves here, Risto, Rick Davis, Straw Dog is great. Paul, new faces, and I thank you all for coming in. Sorry about the show and tell tonight, folks. If you want, we could do show and tell. I mean, I can show you some New York stuff.
Well, I had to I just said cancel the show. I'm on there with Donnie Cho and Randy Gilbert. We do this show every Wednesday night, right? Which we love doing it. And Randy had something to do with his neighborhood thing that he had going on tonight. And I had already told them, look, I'm doing Bryan's show. I won't be there. And I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm going to leave the show with Donnie. I love him. But no.
No.
We would probably get banned and shut down on YouTube.
Right.
And so I've just decided to cancel it and come on here tonight.
Donnie,
wow, I love Donnie. Like, Donnie surprised the hell out of me when I went on the show because he's like, what do you want to talk about? Politics or whatever. And I said, well, let's do both. and then it opened up with this video of me, and like some of it looked like some of it was spot on, other ones looked like maybe it could be me. And then I saw the last video he made, and you ladies are in it, and
Yeah.
Tex is in it, and BMR. I mean,
Hilarious.
it's just, Donnie, you're doing great work right there.
He is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Our Friday night show thumbnail too was created by Donnie, and that's all I'm going to say about it. You'll have to go.
Well, I'm looking forward to being on Friday night. I know Paul, Paranormal Paul.
Mhm.
He hit me up, and I think, yeah, I'll be his guest on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, can you come on?" And I'm like, like I'm all for this whole network you ladies
Oh yeah.
and those gentlemen have built, because it is a network,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
it's like a cool network where it's not like, it's not like overpowering. Some people have a network and they're like, you do this, you do like,
Oh,
everybody takes their turns. It's like, okay, had them this week, we'll have them 3 weeks from now. You had, to Tuesday. It just works out great, and you bring such a wonderful audience. Your audiences are amazing.
They are. I agree.
And the guests as well.
Yeah, the guests are out of control. Great. You really do a great job there. We're going to get into how it started in a second, but again, I've met a lot of people in this crazy, and it's a business now. Paranormal. You're not going to make a lot of money. You're not retiring.
Oh gosh, no.
And thank God Brandi's not in the basement for this episode. Because Brandi, you're always in the basement. It's like, oh, we'll just put her in the basement, But
exactly.
Yeah. So welcome to the mainland, in honor for those that like Buc-ee's. I have that on. I love Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Yes, you don't understand. I can't wait to get there again. Like 500 different types of beef jerky. I mean, or whatever jerky you can get.
There is. Yep.
Yeah, it's incredible. But in all seriousness, when you asked me to come on, I didn't know you guys. I don't normally get to watch everybody's show because I have other things to take care of as well, just like you ladies. But these two are on everybody's show. Tex, BMR, Paul, Brent was just on, and I'm trying to go through. I'm going to get Tex on next, I think. And then I want to get Monica on, and then Paranormal Paul, and so on and so forth. Because I think we need to go through the guest list that are going to be appearing at this Crossing Realms conference.
That's what we've been doing too. Trying to bring
And then I think sometime in like August, if you're up for it, I'm going to have probably 8 or 9 of you on the show, and we're going to do something no one's ever done before. We're going to do Paranormal Hollywood Squares.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That sounds like fun.
That'll be fun.
I mean, you do realize if you get us all on one screen, your show is going to run a long time.
You know me, like people say, "Hey, can you do an hour?" And I'm like, "Really? That's
Is
it?
that it?
That's like an appetizer. It's not even an appetizer."
Here's the thing too, a bit of tidbit I'll give you behind the scenes. All of us, we call ourselves the Island of Misfits, and we are literally all like brother and sisters. I mean, that's how we feel about each other. We're all that close. And so no telling, Brandi may tell me, hey, sit your butt down, and, this is the way it goes, or I might tell Tex that, or who knows. So no telling what's going to happen.
And what's great about Tex is Tex seems to be like the Darth Vader of the group. He has that deep voice, and he's like he's like the Texas Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's gonna stick, right?
No, yeah, and if he's even, the more tired he gets, the deeper his voice gets.
Yeah.
So
Same
you really
here.
got to catch him on a night that he's super tired, and you seriously think you're talking to Darth Vader.
Oh my God.
do.
Yeah, no, I've heard that before. I mean, when I got up here, I am so tired because of the heat and going through. I got to go through to get this place ready to go. Here, sell it. I want it out of my name. I don't want to own it anymore. And then after a while, my voice started going hoarse, which sucks because I'm a singer-songwriter and I have these ideas for songs, and I'm like, I can't sing, and I sound like somebody that works like a sex line. Yes, yes, I feel good. Yes, baby. So it's
1-800
really,
call Bryan.
yeah, exactly. Don't go to my OnlyFans page because I'm the OnlyFans. Donnie Joe says I'm the black sheep of the group. There it is. They abuse me. I'm the Gilligan. Yes, you are. No, Donnie, it's that K-pop stuff. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah. Or the Church of Dogman. It could be that too.
Church of Dogman was hysterical.
So, or Brandi, like Ginger and Marianne.
She's Ginger.
Okay. Who's Thurston, Hal, and Lily? Just that's what I want to know. It ain't me.
Okay. Thurston Howell. Who would that be?
That would be this is good. We're gonna have
Jason.
Johnny's gonna have Jason.
Yep, absolutely, Jason.
We need a Lily. Donnie, pay attention. This is Gilligan's Island for you. I'm waiting for the chat GPT image.
Yeah, Donnie started it with the Gilligan comment.
Right? That's funny.
Yeah, well, there you
Go with that.
This is great from Keith, 1675. My mother-in-law liked the dogman dressed in a unicorn outfit. Yes, that was very inventive.
Yeah.
But before we start the show, I mean, it's Blondes and Boos. I put all that stuff scrolling down there. So on the scroll, you have a link to the YouTube. You have a link to your Facebook group, and you also have a link to the LinkedIn. The link tree. Yep. So, but if you have not, and I think a lot of people here have, oh, look who showed up, Dad. BM4. Hey, Rob. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. It's a fantastic show, fantastic guest, and I love the conversations that come up and the questions that come in from the audience. But let's start from the origin. I love when people use that, the origin story or the archetype. Let's get it, bring it down a level for people that don't, watch comic books.
The cornerstone.
How did Blondes and Boos start?
So it was back during COVID, and we had a third. There was a third blonde. It was Erin, and Erin and I had been friends for a long time, and we were on the same paranormal team. And you couldn't do anything during COVID. Everybody was locked down, so we'd talk on the phone, and we would talk about weird stuff. And she's like, "Well, let's start a podcast." That was actually her idea. I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Oh, cool.
And then so I came up with the name Blondes and Boos, and we were told by our paranormal team, by everybody, "You guys will fail." I'm like, "Okay." So we ended up. Erin had a lot of family issues going on and stuff, and so she would miss a lot of shows. So we knew Brandi. She was a good friend, and she was blonde. And so we're like, "Hey, come on." And so Brandi joined us. And honestly, it wasn't very long after Erin and I had started it. So, I mean, Brandi's been there pretty much most of the time. Mm-hmm. So, and then she moved out of state and went on to bigger, better things. She's still dealing with family stuff. And so it's been Brandi and I ever since for the last, 2.5 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what? But this is like pathways. Like everybody has a path. Mm-hmm. And I've always said that it's really weird. Like, I don't think we would initially organically have met everybody. Like you wouldn't have met all the, but I think we're meant to. It's something that we said, hey, when we get back down to earth on that 2nd, 3rd, 15th run, God, why did I sign that contract? I'm literally going to kill a lawyer up in heaven. I'm like, you told me everything was going to be fine. I must have did it for certain reasons, but I think we all have like this. I don't know if it was a family or a network or friendship or a bond, and we all seem to connect. And it's really interesting who we connect with. And, I'm honored to be connected with both of you. I have yet to meet the other original, but hopefully one day you'll have the reunion show, and it'll be like Jersey Shore, the reunion show, but it'll be blonde.
Yeah, we just it was funny because everybody told us from our old paranormal team had told me that will never work. It's just sexist and blah 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 blah. I'm I'm like, whatever, we're not out doing this for money. We have full-time jobs. We just want to talk about weird shit. That's it. That's all we want to do. And so, since then, we thanks to honestly to BMR. I mean, I went on his show one time, and then he, actually Jessica Jones used to be part of the Island of the Misfits. And she was going on to bigger, better things. And so BMR approached us about, hopping on with them and stuff. And so thanks to BMR and Tex, they really opened us up to a lot of different ideas, topics, people, friends.
Yeah, it was definitely funny how it happened, though. I mean, they're like, hey, why don't you come on? It was Texas show. Come on, Texas Front Porch. Just come chat with us. We had no idea what was happening. Mm-hmm. And so, we were on there and we were discussing everything, having a great time. Krista, I think you had to bow out. You had something you had to go do.
My granddaughter was born.
Yeah, that's right.
Congratulations on that.
Because the granddaughter was born.
Years ago, but yeah.
Right. And so, it left me sitting there talking, and then, eventually, this is when their show was forever long. And eventually the show got over and they're like, well, hey, you guys want to join a group?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea I was in an audition, but okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I love how that dynamic works, that you meet people and then you add to it. It's not just, you guys initially. There are a whole bunch of others that are part of this wonderful network.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really good is if you want to understand friendship and family and how it really operates, look to these ladies and Tex and BMR and Paul and Brent and Monica and everybody else associated with it. I don't know everybody yet. I haven't been asked on the other shows just yet, but I don't know everybody. I will. As soon as, September 19th and 20th in Richmond.
Oh, yeah. You'll meet everybody then. Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's going to be there. Even, I believe Danielle's even coming in for that one.
Yeah, I can only imagine what's going to happen when Donnie Cho shows up.
Donnie's great. Donnie, honestly, he is such a fun person. The comments he makes in his shows are fun. He's like that in person too. So believe me, that Thursday night at the ranch, we'll be having a good time. I assure you.
He's definitely, he's not only my buddy, he's my brother, so we hang out quite a bit. Every time we get together, we're hanging out, and
we do the Waffle House together.
Yeah, exactly. He's up for it. You're like,
Waffle
hey, Don,
House.
let's go into this dive bar where all these bikers are. He'd be like, okay.
Yeah, let's go. No, I know Donnie from another one of my friends, Cisco, and her journey through the gate paranormal portal podcast. It's a really long name. That's where I first met Donnie, and he saw me, and and he had great comments, and it was fun and funny, and Donnie's just an awesome person. I think that's what's great about also this your show is you take it seriously. Okay, this is some serious stuff, and it's fun and whatever. But there are moments of, like a fun time, and it's entertainment. So that's what it's.
One of BMR shows, we sat there and we talked about mayonnaise for like 45 minutes. So what is that?
Duke's mayonnaise, no less.
Yeah,
the best.
It's also thought provoking as well. Not just the mayonnaise, but other topics are. Delving into the what are we seeing with the cryptids?
Yeah, I mean, I love the perspective because when you both started, it was it primarily ghosts or were you doing everything?
So when it first started, Erin was very much into the metaphysics. And she wanted it to be, around the metaphysics, the crystals and stones and things like that. And I'm okay with that. I'm just not into it as much as she was. So I'm like, hey, let's add some Bigfoot in this, and she's like, okay, well, this started to be where she really wasn't into like the Bigfoot stuff. And I was, not that I'm not into metaphysics, but I don't mind metaphysics. I just don't want to do it every show. And so that's where, when Brandi come along, Brandi was into, dogman and stuff. I'm like, oh, yes. number. Yes.
I'm like, let's go find it.
Right. And I've known Brandi, but we've known her for a long time before this. But then, we were sitting on my back deck one night. I'm like, I'm just going to ask her because, people think I'm crazy when I bring this up. But I asked her, I said, what do you think of Dogman? And then she's like, I believe. I'm like, oh my God.
Her eyes got wide. I'm like, I think I found a sister. Yeah. It's
exactly. Are we just now best friends? It's like,
I know. We were instantly best friends right there. We were besties. That was it.
But that's the whole thing. You can't just stick to a subject like metaphysics.
Right.
Right. You have to mix it up. There's, I think we all do it all. I've done the ghost hunting thing, and while I've been doing that, something that I had gift wise started to come out, and I started to question it. Like, I think the acid I took in high school is coming back, like some trip or whatever. And I'm like, no, you really have something going on. But I love the fact that it's so your show goes from one area, then you hit something else, and then you hit something another chapter, and it's just that's what's great about it.
And that's why we do it that way. We believe that there's all it's all on same kind of realm, so we think they're all connected.
So but you also, if I'm correct, you also do is it like paranormal events throughout the year, like ghost hunts throughout the year?
Yeah, we do.
That is awesome. Did you always do that, or was it like, hey, we're going to go to this place? And I'm assuming there's a charge because a lot of people that put on the paranormal events have to, you got to cover expenses and stuff. So, I mean, how did you get involved in that? How did you say, like, you know what, I'm bored Friday night. Grandkids aren't here. I'm like, or Saturday, I'm like, let's go to a prison and hang out for a while.
Right. So the team that I was on originally was a really big, large group out of St. Louis. And so we would go to all of these cool places, and I met so many cool people. And it just became, when you start doing this, as you just connect, as you were saying, with people, and you become friends. So when Brandi and I started doing this, during the COVID season, the Ray County Museum, they were closed. They couldn't be open, and they needed money, and Kathy wasn't getting paychecks, and it was just awful. So Brandi and I, we talked like, hey, we've done this for the old team. We've raised money. We can do this. So that's honestly how we started doing events, putting on our own events. And there's only a few places that Brandi and I do that at, which one of them is the Ray County Museum. And then we also were really good friends with Josh Hurd from Malvern Manor. And so he lets us come up there, and he doesn't charge us or, to raise money and that kind of stuff. But now we are part of Haunted Souls Paranormal. And so we have a couple places that we're exclusive with, and that's Emmaus Village and then Arcadia Valley. And so, it just kind of opened up a lot of things. And these guys that we're in this team with now, a lot of them were on the old paranormal team with me before. So we were all friends, and we just reconnected. So anyway, that's how we started doing the events and raising money and things like that for these locations.
Well, I mean, I think the success of why you're fairly successful, I'm assuming you're actually really successful. You have the people coming. There's a karma factor that you just said right out loud, but not, directly. People needed help, and you're like, well, we do this, and you help them. And that's get into the metaphysics. That's good karma. And when you do good and you act in a good manner, it usually comes back to you. Unless your friend's name is David, who's in there starting shit on the chat. But I've known him since I'm 5, so he can do whatever he wants. but I think that's wonderful. And I've gotten invited to a couple of events, and they know who I am, and I understand that there are certain expenses, and what do I need to give you, because there are expenses, if you do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, when we do our Blondes and Boos, just strictly for Blondes and Boos, Brandi and I don't pocket anything. We give that money 100% to that location. So Kathy is a dear friend of ours. We've done everything, we do a lot to help out at the museum. So it's kind of been our home base originally. And then Josh Hurd from Malvern Manor, like, he doesn't charge us. So why would we take money from him? He's letting us do this, So
100%.
So yeah. So, when we do the blondes, it's strictly, we have to pay, we have to pay for hotels. We have to pay for gas out of our own pockets, which, however, I will tell you now that Blondes and Boos is monetized. Now that covers Brandi and I's gas and,
it covers most travel expenses.
Yeah.
And what I love about, if I'm correct, you guys are part of the same network, which utilizes as a team the StreamYard, which really does take that expense and make it really manageable, which is important because whoever bought StreamYard, you're smoking a shitload of crack. You are charging way too much for what you're providing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just think it's great. But you know what? Part of doing this, and me personally, everybody would love monetization. I'm not trying to do that. I'm actually trying to help people. I try to leave people with something positive and something entertaining. If the money comes, it comes. I was always told by someone's uncle, do what you love and the money will come. And it seems like you ladies are doing what you love. I mean, it'd be nicer if it was like 3 or 4 more zeros to the left of the decimal point.
You know what? The thing is, Blondes and Boos, it's just, we don't make a killing. We truly don't.
No.
And it's, we make enough to cover our events that we do, our travel expenses, because, we do go to conferences and do that kind of thing too. So it covers all of that. And that's all I can ask for, I mean.
Yeah, we hope just to break even. We like I said, we don't, by the time we get our hotel room or whatever to put on the event, and we provide things for our guests and attendees and and things like that, all we want to do is break even because we love to do it.
Rental costs.
Pens down, Mark. The test is over. No, only joking, Mark. The whole thing is like when because of what I've done, I don't consider myself a para celebrity. Some people say, "Oh, you're a para." I'm like, no, dude, no. I'm not an expert. I'm not a para. I have a lot more experience than you, and I do some stupid shit. Pardon the expression. I mean, how many? Come on, raise your hands if you've been in situations which are like, wow, this was stupid. Afterwards,
more than once.
You go out, you're at the Waffle House ordering your eggs and bacon, going, wow, that was really a bad idea. Let's not do that again.
Pretty much.
So it's just, it is what it is. But I would love, if monetization comes, it comes. Either way, I worked with you guys and I want to work with you guys. And when, you said, well, we're not going to take you now. I'm like, dude, just give me a room. I'll get there. I want to be part of this. I want to be at the beginning. And, that's who I am. And there are people, I do a lot for people, not to go for the pat on the back. This is who I am as a person. I'm interviewed 3 psychics. I've said this before because they're tarot card readers and they're really awesome. They're really, they're very talented, intuitive, because there's a lot of people out there that don't know tarot cards from poker deck, but I tried messaging them. They don't respond. I tried emailing them. They don't respond. So how do you do it? You sign up for a reading. You get them in person or virtually, and then you ask them. And all of them were like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to come on, because I'd like to bring these people on. They're trustworthy, and then get them connected to their network. Sure. It's no skin off of me. I'm like, I'm not getting anything from you. I'm not monetized. I'm not making money. But I think people need to see you. Just like, I promote whatever. I'll promote your show. I'll promote Texas show. I'll promote anything you guys are doing, because people need to pay attention to what all of you are doing, especially you two. It's fantastic. There's nothing like it.
We appreciate it.
That's why I'm loving the fact I'm there at the first one. And, I could just remember like 40 years from now. And here they come, the paranormal team. Everybody's got the walkers, whatever.
Well, we joke about it all the time that, like now that we're older, we're losing our blonde. And so we should be called Ghost and Grays. We'll change our name one day.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Ghost and Grays. That's what we're doing.
Ghost and Grays is interesting. I'm going to present. I just want to share this because there it is. I'm sharing this. This is their YouTube page. And that totally, and I'm going to share my age. The logo right there with the blondes, total Charlie's Angels right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Charlie's Angels. Not like
actually, though, that is outline picture of Brandi and myself.
Yeah, but it's a great logo. Great, it works on multiple levels. Go over and check out, if you haven't, check out the shorts, check out the videos, check out the shows. You've gotten me intrigued about this Friday.
Yeah, that's got to be good.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely, you'll see me in the audience. I have a BBQ to go to. It's a Hawaiian BBQ, Hawaiian shirt BBQ, but
we have several guests coming on Friday night, and I can tell you who the guests are, and it's just going to be a great show.
Yes.
We're going to talk Bigfoot and dogmen. So we have Monica Rollins. She'll be on Friday with us. We have Barb Hartman will be on. Jesse Doyle from Hellbent Holler is coming on. Nellie Turner from PRT, and then Madeline Chapp from PRT, and then Brandi.
Wow, that's a great lineup there.
So it's a women's roundtable is basically what it is.
That's good. It's holy crap. That's great. You should probably do those roundtables like once every quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do them too much, people are like, "Oh, it's a roundtable," and there's always one person, Marquetti, that doesn't speak up. Only just playing around with you.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between the women's round table talking about cryptids and guys?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. It's a bad thing to say about that community, the cryptid community, but I believe the men sit around and try to tell everybody how right they are. It's something that I've always noticed. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Where the women will sit around and will compare notes and go, "Hey, I didn't know that. I mean, but what about this or what about this?" I mean, women have a tendency to listen more. And I don't know. Like I said, the men in the community, they're just like, "Well, let me just tell you how right I am."
What she said.
Yep. It's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
what is it? Mansplaining, as they say.
Yeah.
Paranormal mansplaining.
Let me mansplain it to you.
But
and it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Yeah. Brent, when you two have been going out into the field and talking with other people, is there some latest gadgets that people are using? Is it, just pretty much just the standard
Well,
EVP kind of stuff? What's the latest technology that's being commonly used?
Are you talking about on the paranormal side, or are you talking about on the cryptid side?
What about a little bit of both?
Well, we found out just recently. We actually camped out at Emmaus Asylum, and we were using ghost equipment as much as we were using anything else. We were experiencing spirit activity along with cryptid activity. What we believe to be cryptid activity. So we were throwing everything we had at it. We just didn't know what else to do. It's kind of like, we're hearing it, we're feeling it, and the spirit activity was definitely showing itself. It was very hard to not use everything at our disposal. I mean, I do go old school sometimes, which will go back to the dowsing rods and things like that. I mean, I will go back that far. especially if something is affecting my equipment to the point where I can't use it, draining my batteries too fast or anything like that. So I will go old school with everything. So I will, I still do, I have equipment, I guess, if you call it that. But I mean, people are getting out there with, radiation detectors and all this thermal technology and all of these other things now that we never used to have. Right. I don't know if that makes it better or worse, because I believe that people are too busy looking at their equipment, waiting for these, lights and bells and things to go off, that they're forgetting to look up to see these things standing right in front of them. So I use some equipment, but I am not a big equipment person.
Yeah.
Do you find the old school stuff, the non-electronic things like a pensive or the dowsing rods, or even certain branches, or work better than the electronic stuff where everybody's like this? I think he's over here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the bell's saying it's over here. You know what? I do that. I mean, especially if we go into a residential case and they're saying, hey, something's running across the floor, something's, doing this. I may spread out some baby powder on the floor, trying to figure out where it's coming from to see if I actually see footprints going on. And it's just the little things. Like I'll set up like little activities for them to do, to knock over, to, just things like that doesn't require a sound or a light to tell me that it's there.
Right. Have you had the footprints at any point in time when you've done the baby powder?
I've never had it in the baby powder, but I had it go through some dust.
That's just as good.
That's just the same thing. Yeah. There was a room, and it was in the back room of this store that they hadn't used, but they used it for spray tans. Okay, so the spray tans, yes, for the spray tan, dust was all over the floor. So we chose not to walk in it because they were always complaining, that there's something running through there. And I said, well, you know what? The next time you do a spray tan, make sure you don't walk through all that dust going through the room, and just come on out of there. And sure enough, there was footprints that were light, but still there, going through the dust and coming out of the room, out the doorway.
The coolest thing, I don't do turn the light on, like shut it off. If it's one, yes. I'm like, I'll tell you what, if I was a ghost, it'd be like, F you. You guys are like, ask me a real question or have me do something like, remember way back when in high school, the rednecks where someone would smack you in the back of the neck. Well, the guys did it like redneck, boom. But the coolest thing is we went to a location in Yonkers, New York, and our psychic said, he's craving cigarettes. Literally said it. I said, okay. Wow. So we went into the location, and I smoked. My buddy Al didn't. So I'm like, would you like a cigarette? And I purposely brought extras, and I lit it. I'm like, don't mind if I light it. And I put it down, and I took one myself. He was smoking a cigarette. It like he's inhaling, it went red, and then you saw some smoke, and you were like, my buddy Al's like, that's no way that's happening. I'm like, you're watching it happen. I think I have it on footage of it, and if I find it in my collection, I will throw it up. That was the coolest thing.
Yeah, that actually happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me at Brushy Mountain Penitentiary in Tennessee. They always were talking about it, this one cell that if you go in it, you light a cigarette, that someone will come smoke the cigarette. Well, so I smoked this, I lit the cigarette and I set it down, and it was just burning. Nothing was happening. And I said, okay. I said, if you're not going to smoke this cigarette, I'm going to smoke this cigarette. So you better hurry up and come get it. And the next thing you know, you heard something stirring, like they were getting off one of the cots down the hall. It sounded like somebody was getting up off a cot, and you could hear a shuffle. And then you heard about 3 footsteps before it stopped. And then we got it on film where the filter was actually turning yellow as it was dragging on the cigarette. The cherry of the cigarette would light up just a little bit, and the filter would turn yellow as if they were inhaling through the filter.
That's
That
really
is
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
That is
that was
super cool.
Holly Perrine and her son Mason were with me, and we caught some fantastic footage with that.
That's awesome.
The location you're doing before the event or during the event, the
Mhm.
night. Is there something like that could happen, or no? We're not going to be. I don't want to. There's certain places most of these things are outdoors or fortified against fire. So just saying it straight up.
That place is actually Katie Stafford. He's done several TV shows. He was there, and he actually set the fire alarms going because he put a smoke machine in the basement. So that place is
No, don't do it there.
We couldn't light up there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
no. That's fine. And you know what? Some people get a little upset. Like, stop! You can't do that because then we smell it and we don't know. And I understand that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But there are certain things. Have you ever? Is there something that you always were like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened? And you guys can take turns going. I'd say ladies first. There's only two of you, so pick who wants to go first.
I'll let Krista go first.
Something that, oh my gosh. So
Like an oh my God moment. And let's do it this way. Oh my God moment, ghost hunting versus cryptid versus UFO, if you've ever had that. This
So
will be if you have three different events,
Yeah. So as far as ghost, years ago, and I've told the story on our show before. My very first true demonic case was a case in St. Louis where a guy's sons both died, and he was doing the Ouija board and running EVPs to contact his kids. So just make a note. I definitely believe in demons there, but they are few and far between. Not every ghost is a demon. Just want to throw that out there. But this was the very first where there was a true demonic entity there. And it was back in the day, like back in 2007. You remember when the obelisk first came out? And it was only programmed to say like 500 words. And cuss words was not one of them. And I was in the basement of this house with two other fellow investigators who were both male. And it said, kill the F and B. Well, I was the only F and B down there in the basement. So,
oh my. Yeah.
And for that to come out of the obelisk, it wasn't even programmed to say those words. So that was a moment for me that was like, oh my God, like I can't believe it just said that. So that was one of those moments, that was
that's where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think and some people are up for it. I'm not. And I will tell you that any woman that either pushes something that's too big to go through a small spot, or gets cut open like a Colombian necktie to deliver another life, you win. You're tougher than anything else out there. And maybe there's something to it. I don't do it. It's not my pay grade. I don't know. Mark, would you deal with demons? And we're not talking like in-laws or.
I was trying. I was going to answer a certain way, but I thought I don't know if they're tuned in.
Yeah, we'll be very ginger about this.
Yeah. The bedroom scene of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
I don't think that is
something you want to deal with. No, it's actually based on a real exorcism out of I think Washington D.C. And I'm going to throw you another one better. The guy that did the original Exorcist is Father Bowden.
Yes.
Yeah.
William Bowden.
Yeah.
Yes. It absolutely is.
Is he related to you?
I don't know, but praise the Lord.
I think that's the last quarter of The Exorcist has a realistic it could be, realistically depicting things. I believe it. Could I do it? If I pushed into it, I may have to. I think there is that kind of force out there.
Oh yeah. Well, Krista just said, yeah. Werewolf said Exodus was in St. Louis. Yes. There's also one that was in DC. There is actually a home in Washington, DC. It's a townhome that is boarded up. You can't live in it. It's like a portal to hell, and they will not allow anybody in it. They've tried. They brought the Catholic Church in dozens of times, and it's literally a hole. It's kind of like Bobby Mackey's or whatever. Yeah. And it's the evilest thing on the planet. Then again, it's Washington, D.C. Look who's there.
Well, you don't have to say anything.
Part of the Exorcist, I remember when it was out, I had to go to bed early, but my parents had their cousin come over, and they both played piano really, really well. And that night we had a stand-up piano, and I hear the theme to The Exorcist going. Oh, shoot. So I'm like, and I peek out, and I listen to him. Goes, the reason why this movie is going to be so scary, because they were talking about how scary it is. And let me tell you something. People that saw it were blown away and scared. Oh, yeah. He knew the guy that did the sound engineering for the movie. It was the first movie to employ infrasound. So he had certain sounds in the movie that were at certain frequencies, like 14 hertz, 13 hertz, that just creep you out. And that's why it was, besides the fact that if you read anybody that's been on that movie, and they talked about the back end, the cast, they said everything went wrong. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It has to be. They probably used that when Reagan was speaking, when she took on the demonic voice and it was so low. I'm sorry, but that freaked me out. And it's like your whole body vibrated when it was speaking. So they probably used it right there. Just right there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sure I remember when they re-released it, like they enhanced the footage, whatever. They re-released it in a movie theater. Now, I never saw it in a movie theater, but I went to see it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you haven't seen it, you should see it. There's one scene where Reagan, who is the girl that gets possessed, comes down the stairs backwards. So she's like, her hands are behind her, contorted, and her head's that way. I don't know. The head then turns, and I saw these three kids in front of me go, "Oh shit!" They couldn't believe it, and I was just laughing at that point. But yeah, so you did the demonic. Well, you had that demonic experience, which was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them that I've done.
Do you have people you go to, or do you take care of it? Because I know several people that are built for this type of stuff.
So I don't. Okay. It's Brandi and I have a friend that there's just something I can't explain him, honestly. He has like,
we all have them.
Describe it, but no, he's just got this special gift, and he does the bad cases. And so basically, when the few true demonic cases I've done with him, basically I am his lookout. So I watch his thumb. If his thumb goes down, I have to bring him back. As long as his thumb's up, he's good. And I am literally praying the Lord's Prayer over him, me and Kathy, from the museum. She's one that does these with us. And, in exercising these people. So, yeah. And
we all have those people that are like,
I can't explain it.
If it was like over King of the Hill, it'd be like, that boy's not right.
That's it. And so literally the last case that I was at, and I swear on the Holy Bible, we watched him get scratched up by invisible razor blades. His head, blood started coming through his shirt, his arms, like we watched him get slashed, literally. But there was nothing, you couldn't see anything slashing him. It was the weirdest thing ever, but he goes to this place and literally, I mean, he takes it. And to this day, like the last one we did, I've told people this, that he cleared her. She actually went on to try out for American Idol and, you know, things like that. So it's crazy.
important. It's important work. It's God's work. And, you know, there are people that are built to handle it.
Yeah.
I'm not. Also, if you have kids at home or people, you know, you've been on some of these investigations, certain people are very wide open. And the next thing you know, I think we had this conversation on your show about the prison. Sometimes people come home with people like, hey, make a left at the Wawa and I'll come home with you, you know, and you don't need that. Because especially in the exorcism. So I think I said this to you before and I showed it on your show. I have a iron bracelet that I bought. Etsy. Please support those artists. Don't buy it on Amazon. And you wear it on your left wrist. And what it does is, and exorcists have been doing this, they wear irons on their left wrist, like, you know, go with the wrist guards or whatever. It prevents bad or evil to try to enter you, because this is a receiver and this is a giver. The right hand is a giver. So just so you know. But don't do a Zach Baggins, like, you know, all those people. Oh my God. Yeah.
We nothing like that. You know, Zach, you know, it's a TV show. His show is a TV show, you know,
It's
and he's in
entertainment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he knows not everything's a demon, because, you know, every TV show that they put out there's a demon in every spot. We know doing this, there's a demon at every place, because one of the places that he said that there was a demonic entity. Our team has an event there next month, and I've been there probably 20 times, and there's nothing demonic about that place.
He said that, you know, they said that about Letchworth Village, and we've been there. There is a huge shadow person there. The old lady that appeared was very happy to see us. And she, you know, and then there were these young kids that came in. There was like 5 boys and 1 young girl. And if I had to say, they were probably 16, 17. And they were there doing their ghost hunting thing. You're not supposed to be there. It's 28,000 square acres of an asylum. It's private property. You're breaking in. They will arrest you. And they were told, they call it the EVP, get the hell out of here. I don't want you here. I'm waiting for someone else that night, which is what they were waiting for us. And they came upon us because we were in a different end of the building. And there was probably about 7 of us guys there. And we had, you know, I gave everybody a mask, face mask, before they were hip and cool for a couple of years ago. So my buddy Al's like, so you came here, you didn't tell anybody? No. We just showed up. We came here. So you've been investigating and nobody knows you're here? No, not at all. He turns to me, goes, we can kill him right now. No one will ever know. And their faces drop. I'm like, dude, stop.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I said, if my daughter ever goes out with 5 guys on a ghost hunt, I'm going to kill her.
Right.
Without telling me.
Right.
And I have one that's going to be that way. That's the second one. And she, when she was born, I mean, she's been a tough one all the time, but she has a tattoo that was automatically on her. It says, Satan fears me. She's a tough cookie. But Brandi, what about you? Is there something either like ghost hunting related or UFOs, or where you, I mean, like you had that, like, oh my God, that was awesome. You know, like you weren't either expecting it, or it was like, it happened, that, you know, something you've been thinking about?
Well, it's actually kind of a long story, and it happens over time. It wasn't just in one night, and it was, oh my God, look what happened.
I'm good. Mark, what are you doing?
No, I'm just.
I'm good. Keep going.
Yeah, glad to hear the story.
Yeah.
Sorry. We were investigating in my hometown. There's a theater. Chris has heard me tell the story. That we've investigated over and over again, because we had direct access to it. I mean, all the time, pretty much any time. If nothing was happening there, we could get in it. And it was built in 1949, and there's a whole lot of history with our downtown area. But, you know, it was haunted. I could tell you that straight up. everything that I've got, the evidence I have says, hey, this place is haunted. Many people have been there, said, hey, this place is haunted. So it's basically been verified. They had a projectionist room, which they've shut off all electricity to because they don't use that anymore. I mean, it's just something they don't use in this theater. And up there's like the old bathroom, because when the projectionist would go up there, they'd have to stay up there. Mm-hmm. There was no coming down out of that room. Sorry. And so, we would always go up in that projectionist room, but there was always like, I wouldn't say a nasty element. It was kind of like a grumpy spirit. He was just grumpy, just kind of like an old fart, you know what I mean? And you don't need to be up here, get out of here. You'd always hear this stuff coming out of there, whether it be through a spirit box, EVPs, whatever. So this kept going on and on and on. So finally we were getting information that his name was George. We're like, okay. So then as we called him George, we kept getting more and more activity and him responding. So that went on for, I don't know, 2.5 years. Well, then I have some really good friends that live in town. They're like, hey, the guy passed across the street, which I knew who he was, just in passing. I never talk to him. Mm-hmm. But they said he's passed away and his son wants us to take care of this house for him until they figure out what they're going to do with him or with the house. So I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out. They're like, you really need to check it out, because it's like, I'll go over there, I'll turn on a certain light to leave on in the house, and then I'll come back, that light is off and another light's on. Or I will set something somewhere on this counter, and then next thing you know, it'll end up on the living room on the coffee table. I'm like, okay, sounds weird. So I went over there and I got to looking at everything. Come to find out, just because the history is what I love, okay? Looking through his stuff, his old, his birth certificate, the family papers, the just memorabilia that was there. His name was George. George had old pay stubs from the theater that we would investigate. And then so we looked it up under old records of my town, and it says that he had a job there as a projectionist after he came home from Vietnam.
That's cool.
So as we started putting all of this together, it's the same George. I'm now in his house. So I've kind of went from the theater he used to work at, through other people, to my friends and around, to where he lived. Mm-hmm. So it was very amazing. And in this house, it's like it's still sitting as when he went to the hospital and passed away. Still sitting the same way. The clothes are still there, still hanging in the hallway, where the washer and dryer is. They had finally put away the dishes that he had sitting up on the counter, all of his knickknacks. I can tell you, Life magazine, he probably had every single one of them sitting there in these built-in wood cabinets and all this other kind of stuff. They had war stamps that are in mint condition from his mother.
Wow.
That are just sitting in this house. I mean, we're talking museum quality stuff sitting in this house. There's so much history sitting in this house. But it was so amazing to start off at the theater, talk with him, find out he's the grumpy, then go to his house. Well, he's still the grumpy, but he's a little nicer to me because I'm a blonde and in his house. And from what I understood from talking to people, he liked the blondes. He'd have the nurses come to the house, and he liked the blonde ones. He didn't like the brown hair or the redheads. He didn't care about that. He liked the blonde ones. So I got more activity. Now, this man was fairly tall. He was about 6'3" or so. So he was fairly tall. So I'm sitting in the kitchen, and they all left me in this house because I'm getting the most activity. And I'm sitting in the house, and I go into the kitchen, and you can only look one direction, and that's going out into the dining room from the kitchen. And I'm sitting there in the dark, and I'm filming myself. You can see me, but you can't see what I'm looking at. And next thing you know, you seen this really slender, tall black figure come right into, the door there, and I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for you, but hey, how are you? You know. So when I talk to my friends and stuff, I explained to them what I saw, and they're like, yeah, that's George. And when our friends let us in the house, he was in front of me, and I was also in the kitchen again. And as he's walking out to the living room, I heard this thing say, "Hey, tell him to go home." And I said, "Did you say something?" He said, "No." I said, "Somebody just told me for you to go home." And he busted out laughing. He goes, "Yeah, every time I'd come check on George, he'd tell me to go home." Yeah. So
what does that mean?
what do you?
For you to leave?
No, they were telling me to tell my friend to go home because when George was alive, he would always tell my friend to go home because he didn't want him there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't changed, even though I'm not living and breathing. But I'm still here. Go home. And that's what he always used to say.
Mm-hmm. I noticed you put Bryan, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
We all do this, don't we?
Yeah, from time to time.
Yes, I did put a timestamp up because I heard something around that time frame.
So
Sounded like,
what,
go ahead.
What did it sound like? Because I do have a dog that is kind of walking around in here. However,
do you have a young child?
There's nothing. No. They're in the rooms with their doors shut.
Well, it sounded like a child, and I heard it. This happens to me all the time on interviews. I've never you'll see like orbs fly by, right? Or you'll get the EVPs. But so we're gonna check that out, and I'll probably listen to it later after this has gone up. And YouTube does their algorithm thingy. By the way, it sucked. They didn't announce this show was live, and Wayne came in late. Party on, Wayne! It was just his birthday. And Diane Boss's birthday as well.
Happy birthday, Diane.
Happy birthday.
You're bringing a ton of people into the chat, by the way, ladies. People are here to see you.
Awesome.
Well, we hope they subscribe to you because you are a good friend. And
you know what? I always appreciate it if anybody wants to subscribe. It makes a great 4th of July gift for your friends and family. But what I was going to say is, it's only free. What I love is I love the history part of it too.
Yeah.
And that's why, I'm going to be such a geek right now. I've always wanted a metal detector, and I've gotten a metal detectors, and I've gotten one. Things. They're the coolest things in the world because I found a musket ball from the 1700s, and in a loyalist spot up in Brunswick, Canada, in the town where they filmed the original Shining. And I stayed in that hotel. They got the maze and all that other stuff. It's based off the one in Colorado. And I think it was just easy because, what's his name? Stephen King lived in Maine. He's like literally an hour away from where this is. But I love the history factor because I think what George loved about you was you went there, then you went to this house and discovered it's the same person. So you took a personal interest in him as a person. It doesn't hurt to be good looking and blonde too. Okay. It just happens. Both of you, they like that stuff. But that doesn't hurt at all. But I think they respect you when you actually go the extra mile to see who they are. Because ghosts were people too. Yes. Absolutely. Sorry, Mark.
I asked this last week. With the example of George and the connection to the movie theater, some dates, all the other documents that connect him to the projector room. Do you find that when you're profiling a ghost, or the history of lineage of property ownership, home ownership, or something like that. Or are you finding that to be a universal truth, like what's documented in the House of Seven Gables, some of those kind of stories, any of those like Victorian type stories? I just have an interest in that. I was just wondering if you could confirm anything. It's just
Some of the older stories, like
like where the Victorian authors setting the stage for what you two are researching and confirming.
I don't think that anything in the Victorian age is setting us up for all of this. I mean, I think that in different areas, in different things, I want to say we investigate. The history is only on that place and that place alone, and some of it could go back and have German lineage, or it could have strictly early American lineage, or a lot of it is Native American. I think there is a vast array of backgrounds that do cover all of these things, and it takes that extra mile to go back and find it. But to do this, to investigate these places, you have to have the ability to be able to return time and time and time again to get the information you need to even start your searches.
It sounds like you do put a lot of effort into understanding what you're walking into.
I do. Sometimes okay. So the places that say, hey, come visit us, I'm the most, haunted house in America. Again, I say this all the time. I'm from Missouri. You're going to have to show me because I'm from the show me state. So I will walk in with barely limited information. Mm-hmm. I mean, I may know what the history is, but I don't know what the haunted history is. I don't want to know the haunted history because I don't want to expect that, okay, there's a guy that's going to walk down the steps at 2:30 a.m. There's going to be a woman in white standing on, the breezeway, at 1 a.m. I don't want to know any of that. I want to see what happens and what happens to me. So I don't check all of that until after I'm all done. And then I go back and said, hey, I wonder what I can look up and find out about this person. Mm-hmm. Or why is this happening? Why am I getting the name Oscar? Why am I getting this or that? That's when I'll dig into the history. Yeah, that's when I'll dig into the extended history.
Mm-hmm. So like you, I do a remote view of every investigation prior to the investigation. And if I can't be there, I also do a remote view. Send it through text messages to someone who's on the investigation. Uh-huh. But just like people always ask me, why do you take 3 pictures? It's a paranormal thing.
Yeah, it's a paranormal thing.
If I'm standing there and I'm going to go click, 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 it's what you do because you want to see the movement.
See if it moves.
Yeah. Do you wait a couple of times, like a couple of investigations of spot A before you investigate into it? Or do you employ, like we have a psychic in Arkansas. She's like awesome. I've never met her. She's like a sister from a different mister. She's so spot on. And then I do some of the research on what she said after the fact. I've gone there like 2 times because like yourself, I don't want to, even when I do readings for people, just give me your question. Don't tell me because that doesn't help me. I just want where's my, career should I be looking into? I don't want to know, I was at this job and this. I'm like, I'll get it. And I'll tell you. And everybody goes, how do you do that? And I'm like, it's just what you do. You can do it too.
Yeah, I don't want anybody giving me their narrative to the story.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to have my own. Yeah, I want to have my own. So, and that's why I usually I'll go into a lot of spots blind, not knowing anything. especially with the new locations that we're picking up with our new paranormal group, I walked into them blind.
Great way to
Very
go.
vague information.
I think that is the best way to go. I promised Keith I'd ask this question for you, and I'm putting it on the screen. I'm curious if those who pass can travel between here and the next world at will.
You know what? I actually just learned something about this. So
Sure.
I posted on Facebook, a very dear friend of mine passed away. And this was Saturday. It was Saturday night late. I got the phone call. And I knew when I answered the phone, it was coming from another mutual friend. And I thought Jennifer,
Yep.
immediately. And why I thought Jennifer, I don't know, but she popped in my head. So come to find out, she had been in the accident and she was on life support at that time. And that night when I finally did fall asleep, and she hadn't passed yet, but she came to me in my dream. I'm telling you, I know, like, she came and told me, like, I love you. I've lived a great life and I'm moving on. And I knew when I woke up that morning, she was going to die. I knew it. But what was amazing to me is, like, so for Keith's question, she hadn't passed yet. I had never had that happen before. And I know it was not a dream. I know it was her spirit coming to me. I know it was. I have no doubts. And sure enough, she passed away that Sunday. The family took her off.
The next day. Yeah.
But that was new to me because, she hadn't died yet, but yet maybe she did. I don't know, because she was, it was machines just keeping her alive. So maybe mentally she was gone. I don't know. I can't explain it, but
do you find that they're like, the shadow you were talking about, someone hasn't died, but they appear to you in a dream, appearing to someone after they're dead. How many different, like, subcategories of paranormal different types of ghosts, or I don't know how you call it, hauntings. I don't know what the right word for it.
I personally think, not everybody is stuck here. I think our loved ones can come back and say, hey, and I'm here, and, that kind of thing. So, and then there are those that are here, be it by, something keeping them here or their own, free will. So, yeah.
I mean,
it's just interesting.
It's actually very interesting, and I think what was happening to your friend. First of all, my condolences go out to you and her family.
Thank you.
It's about a year ago. Tom Cardos, who had the North Carolina cryptid,
He was great too. Yeah.
Yeah, he great guy. He went out to get his wife something on a Friday night, and he never came home. But he did.
He was on a bike too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yep. So
that's why I'm going to get so much slack for it. I wanted a bike, and after that, I was like, So I'm thinking about a Can-Am, a little more stability, but it's different roads, and you got to just be careful where you are and look around.
Yeah.
But with your friend, I think she knew it. I think she had a choice, because I've seen this. I remote viewed for my friend. She's like, he had a motorcycle accident. He's on life support. My other son's there with him, or his father. I need to know what's going on. And I went in not knowing who this was. I was doing this to help a friend. And this guy was stuck in the ether, which was like very dark. It literally felt like we were surrounded by black. But we can see, there was a light there where we can see each other. And let me tell you something. This guy was a biker, ran with colors. Yeah. And I can still see his face, like, who the F are you? And he's I'm going to kick your ass, whatever. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold on, dude. I'm here because, and I knew her name as one name. I'm like, she sent me. She wants to know what's going on. But I knew what was happening. He was in bed, hooked up to life support. His son was holding his hand. I saw it. And I told him, I said, this is what happened. you have a choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
You can either go into the light and deal with what you got to deal with, or you can stay here and you're just going to be stuck here. You know, you can go in the light, or you can actually come back, but it's going to be very painful. You may not walk. I don't know what the full, aspects of it is. It may not be good for you. Long story short, when he was still pissed off, I called my friend up. I'm like, he's pissed. I mean, like, I really don't. I mean, this is in the spirit world. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back in there. And she said, tell him, I'm going to make up the name, Susie sent you. I'm like, who? Susie. Just tell him Susie sent you. Apparently, that's her real name. I go in there and he goes, oh, you're back, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, Susie. I was told Susie sent me. And he had this look like son of a bitch. You know, the boyfriend that there's always somebody in your life that you always love. It's just not going to work out. Yeah. And there's something like that. And he was like, and then he got it. He listened. Then he made his own choice. But I think you could straddle both ends of it because you're semi-aware. It's not as much of a shock. Sorry, Brandi, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, there are 4 types of hauntings. You've got your intellectual, your residual, your poltergeist, and your demonic. You've got those 4 separate hauntings. I don't think that, like in Krista's friend's case, that this was necessarily a haunting type thing.
No.
I think I would lean towards more astral projecting. It's kind of that last moment of reflection, like you're going to go, but you can't speak, so you want to say goodbye. You want to give your loved ones that last moment of peace before you cross. All of that stuff, they're not exactly gone from the earth yet, but they're well on their way. They know it, and they can't communicate it to you like normal.
Right.
So I kind of think that they do these things, and it is possible. I mean, we talk about astral projection all the time. People do this.
Yep.
And there's no explanation on really why this is happening, especially with people who are don't even know they're doing it.
Right.
I had a friend during the beginning of COVID. We used to talk all the time, and he knew I was into the crazy shit. Like, you have friends that like they'll say like Bryan's nuts, Bryan's crazy.
They say that about me all the time.
Yep.
And the other guys are like, yeah, no problem, he's good. And we used to have these really long 3-hour conversations. I still miss my friend Rob to death right now. We had these great conversations, and he was saying that he was having what he said were dreams, where he wakes up in his dream and he's surrounded by fire, and he thinks he's going to hell. So he started praying more. And then when he was praying, he felt this force, this vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And it was starting to come around his whole entire body. And before it could connect, he would break away from it and wake up or whatever from prayer. I said, no, Rob, what you're doing is you're vibrating at a higher rate frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to, and you're connecting brain, body, mind, heart, soul. So he understood it, not totally. But unfortunately he wasn't feeling well. And I told him, if you don't go, guy's 6'7", mind you. I said to the doctor, I'm going to drive to your house in Jersey. I'm going to drag your ass to a doc in the box, to get him. I'm concerned. He basically went to the doctor with his brother to his brother's doctor's office. Doctor said, nope, take him to the hospital. They found lesions on his brain and his spine and his lungs. Stage 4. He was only like 40 something. They went aggressive on it. And you talk, how you doing? I'm like, I'm really tired. They really hit me with some stuff. I'm like, okay. The last call was on a Wednesday night. I'll remember it forever, about 7:30ish. And he said, I'm really scared. And I said, I know you are, brother. But put your faith in God, what you have done, and God will guide you. Mm-hmm. And that night, he hung up the phone. That was the last I heard his voice. Come about 10 o'clock, I have a railroad kitchen in this apartment, which means it's very narrow and long, and you can only go out one way. You have to go out, take a couple of feet, make a right into a hallway to make another right to the restroom. So it's about 10:30, and I go out, and everything, all the lights are out, except for a little light coming from the kitchen. And as I go out to make the right, as soon as I started to turn to make the right, Rob was standing right there, right there with a smile. To the point where I had to stop, and I turned and I looked. I know what I saw.
Right.
So I went, whatever. So just like you, Krista, I get a phone call on Friday, 2 days later.
Yeah.
I don't normally answer numbers I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Something said, Bryan, pick up the phone. It was Rob's sister telling me that he passed away, which I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go to the funeral. You know, and they had a viewing one day, and he said, you know, Rob talked about you all. He really, you know, wanted you to be there. He really loved your conversations.
Yeah.
So I met Rob at the viewing. There he is. The last time I saw him, he's passed away. I met his mother, his brother, and his brother's wife, and sister, and, you know, her husband and the kids. And I'm just in, you know, shock. And they all said, Rob spoke highly of you. You guys used to talk all the time. Yeah. I thanked him for a wonderful person in my life. He really meant something to me, like a brother. Right. So I figured the area where we were in upstate, there's a spot that we go investigate. I've had Bigfoot encounters there, UFOs, EVP spirits, there's stone chambers. And I'm like, oh, I'll come up here on an investigation. I'll stop and say hi to Rob, you know, at the funeral. I'll do that. I go to cemeteries, family members, you talk to them. And that's when the parents said, thank you for coming. Tomorrow we'll be cremating Rob, and that'll be private for the family, you know, whatever. So I left, and I was like, holy shit. When he had these visions of him being surrounded by fire,
there it is.
He saw his own cremation.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going like this, and one of the guys goes, dude, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. Because I couldn't tell other friends that I became a little bit friendly with. They're like, Rob saw he was going to be cremated a month ago. You know, they wouldn't believe you.
Right.
But I believe him standing there smiling was, you know, his way of saying, hey, bye, bro. But what was crazy is this was a couple of years ago. So about 3 years ago, about a year after he died, I'm coming into this apartment and I'm going, I remember it. Like, Rob, man, I really miss you, brother. I really miss the conversation. I hope you're doing well. And I heard his voice. I'm doing really well, bro. And I'm like, okay, I just made that up. Like, no, you didn't. I mean, I heard his voice. Yeah. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, are we having a conversation? He goes, yes, we're having a conversation. I said, you sure you're okay? Yeah. Everything's up here. It's really cool. It's very similar to what we discussed. I said, okay, I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. So then it ended. I called up a friend of mine who's a psychic, and I said, told her what happened, and she goes, oh my God, you've got Claire audio. And I said, I don't know who Claire is, and she keep her fucking audio because it is the weirdest thing to experience.
Yeah.
But from that point forward, I've had Claire audio, and you can't tell people these things, even if you investigate the stuff, because they think you're not there.
Mental.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about, you know, hearing your friend's voice, and that was another thing. Jennifer used to say you would talk to her. Her famous saying, and we laugh about it with other friends, would be right on. She'd would say right on, and she said that Saturday night, and I can still like sit here and hear her words saying right on, you know, like everything you say. And it was just crazy because like a year ago we held an event at Ashmore Estates, and she bought a ticket. She came to it. She had tickets for Crossing Realms. She had tickets for the ghost hunt for it, you know, so she was starting stuff. And yeah, so it's, you know, I keep hearing this right on, like all day long at work, you know, right on.
Maybe she'll make an appearance at Crossing Realms.
That would be awesome. Actually, as a team, the Island of Misfits, we decided to, somebody who wants to come to the conference and can't afford it, we're going to let them, you know, have the conference tickets. However, the ghost hunt, anybody that wants to come to the ghost hunt, they need to email Blondes and Boos, and then as a team we'll pick, you know, somebody will do a drawing who will get those tickets. So because she would have wanted that. Absolutely, she would have wanted that. So.
That's really, really cool. But I also saw on your page that you ladies are participating in a fundraiser. And
we are.
Can we get some information on that, because it deals with something very important, people who are abused, and I think if we can,
Yep.
I want to post something on so whoever follows me can listen, and I also want to promote it. So if you ladies, go ahead, tell
Let Brandi
everybody
talk
about it.
this, because she can tell it a little more civilly than I can.
Well, what it
Oh, I
is,
know.
we're raising money for a counseling center in Bethesda, Oklahoma. That's for kids who have been abused in bad ways by, family members, parents, friends, that sort of thing. And these children need help. It is the only nonprofit in that area. So we are raising money for this. It's called Bigfooters for Bethesda. You can find that on the GoFundMe page. It is sponsored by Hellbent Holler, Blondes and Boos, and Paranormal Roundtable. So we are raising money to help these children. And with every $250 we raise, we send one child to a camp where they will have free therapy sessions and have a little bit of normalcy going on in their life. You know what I mean? Without all the stress of what's going to happen next and all those things that a child shouldn't have to go through. So that's why we're doing this, because we fully believe that these children need it. They need this help.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
100%. This is stuff that I do myself. We used to do when I was in finance, not making the big bucks, by the way. But they would do the Christmas thing. This one woman would get a list of kids that were terminally ill, and they wanted Christmas gifts. So I'm surrounded by hundreds of men and women who are making millions of dollars a year. And I took a boy and a girl, to be fair, and I noticed that no one else was taking, very few people. I'm like, I literally stood up and I'm like, are you kidding me? I know you have kids and I know you have a life. These kids are going to die. Go take 5 or 10 kids. You can afford it. And then I started taking 10 boys, 10 girls, would buy them everything with the batteries. And this is part of like understanding what you see in your mind's eye. I never saw these children open these gifts, but I can imagine in my mind's eye, or maybe I did see it, and I did, them lighting up, and for about a half an hour to an hour, or however long it was, the fact that they were dying or whatever, they got something, and then I started doing it, buying Christmas gifts in the name of my family members. Because we all know when you buy stuff for your family members, like, Dad, what do you want? I don't want anything. When you get them something, like, thanks, and he puts it in the closet, because dads are really a lot more sentimental than you think. And moms were like, I'm tired of buying gifts for people that aren't going to use them. So I might as well donate it in their name and have somebody that's going to enjoy it. But I love the fact. So I'll get more information, and I'll post it up here, and I'll post it in the crawl.
For sure. It's definitely for a good cause too. And just so any rumors don't start flying, 100% of money, there is no middleman to this money. It goes directly to Bethesda. Directly.
Yes.
Right.
So when people donate, we don't see any of it. We just help them raise it. So.
And since Mark's the English major, you can type Bethesda and all that other stuff into the chat, because my spelling's so atrocious that the silent E are so silent I don't even include them. But I can write very well, actually. But I think that's wonderful that you're doing this. Besides the event coming up in September, what other events are you going to have that people that are in the audience that want to attend some of these things, can attend? I'm sure you have people here that live close enough by. Mind you, when I'm in Florida, I will drive the 18 plus hours, 19, to go get pizza in New Haven, Connecticut. Just going to throw that out at you. So I'm sure we have a couple of travelers in this group.
For sure. We have an event actually this Saturday. It's at Emmaus Village. Brandi, are you coming this weekend?
It's my birthday. Of course I'm coming.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
There we go.
Thank you.
And
I want
then,
to be a senior citizen. I'm super excited. I qualify for AARP now.
At
Oh,
21,
that's yeah.
do they lower the age?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, that's when
Thank
you
but
know
no.
it's
Mhm.
when you get that number and you're like, oh God, I
Hey,
just
I
got
know.
the AARP letter.
I'm like, that's okay. I mean, they do have good incentives. They've got like discounts on hotels and stuff like that.
No. There are tons of incentives, but
I know.
Yeah.
oh, and
Actually,
here we
real
go.
quick, BMR just posted the link.
I'm there.
Yes.
So that's
thank you,
the
BMR.
GoFundMe.
Yes.
And this will be in this, and then I'll copy it from this. I'm going to do a screenshot, and then
I
I'll
know,
post
it's so
it for my
amazing. We started off with just a goal of $500, and we have surpassed it. I think we're probably over 3,500 now.
$3,300 right now.
3,300. Okay, yeah. I mean, then this is just a
Well.
couple days since we've started this, so we are super excited about how many kids that we're getting help for. We're super excited.
Also, Joe and Jesse, Hellbent and Holler, they are selling some mugs also.
Yes.
And the proceeds for the mugs also go to Bethesda. So
Yes.
and that's on their website through Hellbent and Holler.
Their merch, yeah.
This is gonna make you feel good. Amy Creel says, "Brandi must be living right. You're beautiful, Brandi."
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
all in
truth.
the
You're
lighting.
both beautiful.
It's all in the lighting.
As she says.
It's all in the lighting.
I was just noticing, like, I'm peeling my whole face, and I've got a dummy mark right here.
Well, that's because Krista likes to go on vacation for a month.
Well, I got sunburned, and I burned
That's what I
myself.
mean.
My
She
whole
went on
nose.
vacation for a month.
I'm peeling all up here, and so yeah.
Yeah, I get like
It's-
sunburn on the one arm from it hanging out the vehicle. One arm.
Yep. That's how I also got the skin cancer too. It's usually the left side in the U.S. and you get the basal cell carcinoma, and then I
Yes.
had the surgery to pull it off, and I have a bandage on my face, and the guys at work are like, "Dude, what happened?" I'm like, "This is what happened when you try to pay for breast implants with a coupon," and they were like, "Get out of here." It's all how you feel in your age. And
Yes.
if you follow my methodology and you continue to add the two numbers together, so if your numbers equal 6 and 6, or if you're 66 or 63, there you go. 6 and 3 is 9. Happy 9th birthday. Okay.
Thank you.
You'll never be older than 9. So
That's right. Never.
yeah, it's really weird getting those letters from like A. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Or you can go by your shoe size. You'll never be old if you go by your shoe
Exactly.
size. I
Or
don't
just
care
freak
how big
people
your
out.
foot is.
I just tell people I'm 600 months. Let them figure it out.
There you go. We're
My
really
baby be
so
600 months.
when you
Yeah.
start telling your stories and they're 20 years old, they're 30 years old. Because I was thinking the other day how long I'd known my friend Jennifer, 38 years. I'm like, oh my God, that's 38 years, like,
Yeah, that's when you start going, wait a minute.
yeah, I'm old.
Yeah. Well,
Y2K was a long time ago, everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so were the
then
1970s.
yeah, I saw some of my friends, that they were my campers in sleepaway camp, because that's what we did in the East Coast. And they're having kids going to college. And I'm like, oh, crap, I'm old. Or some of them are having babies. I asked that to the our doctor, our obstetrician was awesome. He was like, good guy, like hysterical, whatever. His partner was like Mr. Serious. But I said, what is it like to deliver the baby of the granddaughter of the woman, like the whole line? He goes, it makes you feel really damn old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I
It's
mean,
just
it's just, you
crazy.
blow their mind when you say you're born in the 1900s.
Yeah. I used to do it because my grandparents were born in the 1800s, 1889.
Wow.
And then you'd have to ask questions like, do you have a refrigerator? No. We had an ice box. That's where the term ice box comes from, right?
Yeah.
So you asked, my grandmother was like more of a mother to me than my mother, but I asked her, she would tell me my father sold notions. And I'm like, he sold ideas? She goes, no. Like, that's what a notion is. Like, I thought of an idea. She goes, no, it's what ladies would go to, like pantyhose, lace, ribbon. That's what they were called, notions. And she would show me all these things. And then we took my bunch of years back, we went to the Amish country and we went into a real Amish house run by a Mennonite woman.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we're all standing there and she goes, what's this? Do you know what this is? And I'm like, yeah, that's a button hook, the hook of your clothes. Everything she said, they all looked at me like, she's like, after the tour is over, excuse me, sir, are you Amish, ex-Amish? I'm like, no. I just know a lot of shit.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're old.
We
That's
are.
what ghosts like us.
Yeah, we're closer.
Damn
to
whippersnappers.
We're going to be joining them before too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's craziness. So I love the fundraiser. You got to
Thank
check out this Friday for the round table, which is probably going to get really, really interesting.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna test my age here. Do you remember a long time ago, Battle of the Network Stars?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe at the conference. I don't want the liability though. We should have Battle of the Paranormal Stars or Paranormal People. We'll have like relay races. BMR pass the baton to Tex, who runs up the hill. I ain't running no place. We just have some. That would be interesting. We can do it that way.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Maybe we could do that Thursday at the pre-party.
Yeah, there we go.
I agree with that.
That'd be a good one.
What's the idea behind the September conference, the Crossing Realms conference? What is the motivation? Just bring people together, talk about experiences. What?
It's honestly, it started out. It was just started out as a fundraiser for the museum. We've done, Brandi and I. This is our third conference that we've put on, and it's always been for the museum. And that place is just very near and dear to us. And then with so many people doing this, we just know so many different people with UFOs and metaphysics and ghosts and Bigfoot and you name it. We've met them. So, and we've become friends with so many people that, it's just like, let's, invite them and see if they want to come. And they say yes. And here we are. So it's a fellowship. If anybody has any issues, check it at the door.
Mhm.
It's for fellowship and to learn from each other.
Yeah, and the whole object of Crossing Realms is because we believe that all of it is intertwined. We don't know how, but it's intertwined.
Great.
So that's why we're bringing like all aspects of the high strangeness with the UFOs and the paranormal, the fae, the cryptids. We're bringing them all in because, it's just a wide array of subjects that, but there are no experts.
Right.
Right.
But we do have people with knowledge, and that's the people, that we are bringing to our conference, and we want to hear more because I believe that knowledge is power, and why not share our ideas with each other? Show our evidence, because maybe we can figure one of these subjects out if we just get enough participation. Just one.
Yeah.
That's all.
And Amy said we all want to meet each other face to face, and we're manifesting it, and that's 100% correct. This is what I love about both of you and your what you do and what everybody else does. You straddle all of it. And I remember when these conferences started and the paranormal, it was usually ghost hunting because thank God for Jason and the plumbing crew. But if you did Bigfoot or UFOs, cryptids, no, you can't do all of it. So we literally, we had to do one group that was just ghosts.
Right.
And then if we were at a cryptid, another group, and then I'm like, I'm done with this stuff. I'm not putting on the show.
Right.
There is a
Separate
common
topics.
thread. Right.
Yeah.
And some people just can't, for some reason, they have an attitude. They can't deal with it. No, ghosts have nothing to do with cryptids or UFOs. They may.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to ask the question, right?
Yeah, it's an intertwined John Keel wrote about that. It's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I come back and tell people, well, why do dogmen hang out in cemetery? Tell me it's not related. What's the meaning of that?
There's got to be something to it, and I may be discussing that at the conference. And I may put forth. I'm definitely going to. I'm going to put forth some of my. I have a whole bunch of questions, hypothesis, and what I've come up with from my experience. This is from me personally. Awesome. I do my best to share images and videos and facts that I personally was either on that investigation we got or I took. I really try to do that because I was there. Look at it. You can ask me any questions about it. And again, like you said, I'm not here to make you believe me. I don't want you to believe me. What I want you to do is put the TikTok down and start researching X, Y, and Z. Start asking some questions. And this is another reason why, and I don't know if you guys do it for your groups, I stopped doing all the different pages like, Bronxville Paranormal Society, New York State UFO Project, New York State, whatever. Because I'm not, I'm back in New York State right now. God, get me back to the dirty South. Amen. But what I've always done is, and I said, I'll join your group if we put the raw footage up. And we let all you users, everybody that's in this chat and everybody that sees it, become paranormal investigators themselves.
Right.
And because of that, we literally got images of a dogman on an investigation. We got images of a Bigfoot on an investigation. And the reason why we didn't catch it initially after seeing it 1,000 times is because we've seen it 1,000 times. It's like trying to edit your own essay.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys do what you do. Ladies do what you do. Sorry, everything, guys.
Well, I just wanted to tell you too, a lot of people in your chat right now are actually coming to the conference. So
I know
a lot of those folks that's in the chat.
I got a lot of hugs to give out. I'll tell you that.
You do.
And I just wanted to tell Mark, I am like you. I always have my pen. I have all of my notebooks that I'm constantly taking notes when I'm interviewing people. I mean, they may bring up something that I want to look into. I want to research what they're looking at. I want to see that. So, I mean, it's very important, not only as being a podcaster and we don't do interviews. Blondes and Boos is unprofessional. We don't do interviews. We sit around the kitchen table and have our tea. That's what we do.
Right.
But I mean, when you're talking to people, you're finding out different parts of information. And I write this stuff down so I can look at it later.
Yeah.
Because you may have a piece of information that is very vital to what I'm looking at.
Right.
So it's always important to pay attention. There is a fly in here that has been bothering the tar out of me.
I can see him.
There's some of my show notes over years.
Yes.
Wow.
See?
But it's important you gotta, if you're gonna research and investigate like we're doing, no matter if it's ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, in-laws, potential dates, whatever it is, you're gonna have your questions. And then what usually happens, this happened to me, is I'm thinking this way, and then I have the experience and I'm like, okay, well, check that enough, but this was different. Boom. So now I have 10 more questions.
Yeah. Right. It's the more you know. The more you know. You're
talking with someone like we're here. I'm not doing an interview. I don't want to interview you.
No.
I have no job to give you. I just want to sit around as if we're sitting around at a honky tonk or a bar, chilling out, going, take a look at this, and have a real, just like a fun conversation. And then go, where was that? Oh, that was there. That's what it's about. It's about people telling their tales.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have my notebook here also. However, my brain is fried sometimes, and it's I got that old age thing. So I'll think of a question and I'll have to write it down.
Oh yeah.
So I remember to ask. That's why my notebook's sitting here.
I'm with you on that because
I'll be like, I don't. Ask?
If someone's asking me questions, they're like, what do you want to talk about? And I'm being brutally honest. I say, whatever you want to talk about, I will talk about. And I keep my brain kind of functioning, although with this heat and some other stuff, I'm like, oh God, you know.
Well, Bryan, you're one of these people that we have to keep notebooks for, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you know what, you start talking, and we're like, oh, okay, let me write that down. I want to ask him that question. You know, we have to write that question down because maybe 20 minutes later, after you went through 20 rabbit holes, we're like, oh wait, let me bring you back to this because I have this question.
I apologize. It's just, believe it or not, there is a method to the madness. I don't purposely need to, I don't try to do that. I've had that. Someone's interviewed me and I've gone from point A to B, C, D, E, back to point A. And they go, well, that's 20 questions I had.
You come back.
I will circle back.
But see, we might have forgotten the question by then. So we have to write that down. So when you go to all the points and zigzag and cross over and then circle around, we got that question.
Right. But in the process, what I'm trying to do is, like people said about the question, like Mark asked, paranormal, ghosts, cryptids, whatever. I'm trying to tell you through the connection in the different rabbit holes that it's one giant string that goes through and it comes back.
Yeah.
And you can't just focus on this because you're going to miss out on it.
Well, that's one of the nice things about doing podcasting is you can have, like all those, pages, ream of, paper filled up with questions.
Yeah, it's
but if you ask all those questions, similar questions to the appropriate guests, and you get so many different points of view. Maybe you aren't any closer to getting a definitive answer, but you thought an awful lot about whatever the topic is.
Right.
And that is what is enriching about doing the podcasts.
You are absolutely right.
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right, Mark. 100%.
You know what I love also? This is a great dynamic that both you ladies are on same pages, but you're also outside the box in your own ways. And that brings a really great dynamic, especially depends, whether you have a male or female guest. I don't have any, I have everybody. I ask people to be on. I'm honored when they say yes, because they don't have to. But in all the time both you ladies have been doing this, do you think that your third eye or intuition or something has opened up in the process, and you've got, you may not want to admit to it, but you may be on that psychic end of it? Is the easy way of saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think our lights are turned on more than they're turned off.
Normal, like for years ago, not even just shows from just years ago starting this and
and now that we talk about it, because Krista and I are on all kinds of shows, we're on 5 and 6 days a week. That the light bulb gets turned on, and it's like the entities and things like that. They can see that, hey, they can see us, they can talk to us, they can hear us, da 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 da. So we end up, I guess, experiencing more, seeing more, because we're open to it. Right. It's not just a one-time conversation, then we close it off. I mean, this is an everyday thing. Right. So, I mean, I talked about it before, and Krista and I both hate going to Walmart. Mine is because of the Claire audio thing. The whole Claire audio thing. You wouldn't believe how much chatter is going on beyond the people in the store. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So I hate going.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't like. It takes a lot for me to kind of block things.
Yeah.
And some days I'm like, we had this conversation on your show about like the bitch. Like we all can be that.
Uh-huh.
It's not exclusive to women. It's you catch anybody on a bad day, they're gonna be like, okay.
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
if your kids have pissed you off, whatever. But when you go in and you're dealing with so much stuff, and then you walk down the street, and then you start like there's a lot of people, and you feel, oh my God, she's dying of cancer. Oh my God, he just lost
it's all
somebody.
kinds of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I have to tell my daughter, hey, we gotta go. Get what you gotta get. I gotta go. But our kids, Krista and our kids understand what's happening. And they're like, oh, okay. They understand. They already know. And so it's easy for us. But I mean, those places I hate. Yeah. I hate large crowds. It's too much noise with noise.
Right.
It's that's why some of these quiet spots are great. The ghost hunting is great because it gets a little bit more intimate and quiet. You don't have to even though saying that while you're in a prison, mind you, where there's thousands of inmates, it's like, God, thank God this is quiet.
Right. Because you're only dealing with a few noises. You're not dealing with 300 or 400 noises. You know what I mean? It's just a few, and you're okay with that. That's why when people ask us, hey, do you sleep in any of those locations? Kristen and I yeah.
All the time.
We sleep fine. Mm-hmm. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
I've been in Hilton hotels, their properties, and there's a ghost. It's opening the fridge, closing the fridge. I'm like, dude, you got to stop. Yeah, I can hear you. And I'm not talking to you. I just drove 12 freaking hours. I'm going to bed. Hit me in the morning when I come back and get my bag.
You're like, don't get in the chips. Just don't.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot make any promises. So Brandi has I don't know what you want to call him, but he comes to everything she goes to. So I cannot make any promises that he won't be at Crossing Realms. And here's the thing, though. He leaves us alone. He goes to other people.
Yes. He bothers the tar out of me while he's here, because I guess I'm the funnest thing in the house. And then when I go places, he gets in the car and he comes with me. Now, and he's done this on several occasions, and people can tell you, hey, what's going on? Because Krista and I will be like, hey, well, we're going to bed. Good night. Krista and I go into our room and we'll go to bed, whatever. And it's super quiet. And then everybody else is hearing footsteps. Things are talking. Things are clanging around. And it's like somebody's trying to get their attention, moving their stuff. I mean, we had one lady put her glasses into her little pocketbook. And then couldn't find her glasses the next day. They were actually found in her luggage underneath her clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's someone that doesn't get out much and like, ooh, this is going to be fun.
It could be a spirit guide or a guardian angel. Yeah, I take them on vacation. So, I mean, they enjoy themselves. But this is something that I deal with. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't bother. It's just a little prankster, and it feels it's okay with me.
We actually, this was funny. We went to Michigan and there was another person that was with us, and I was sharing a room with her, and Brandi had her own room. Right. And this other person, she was petrified of ghosts, scared to death of ghosts.
Scared.
Brandi's little friend decided to come in our room and make a bunch of noise. And I'm like, go to bed, go away. I turned over and I went to sleep. Well, this other friend of ours, she was up all night long. She was scared to death. She couldn't sleep. She wouldn't sleep because I didn't even think nothing about it. Like, we stay in haunted places all the time. I can get a good night's sleep. I told her to go away and do its own thing, but no, she sat up literally all night long.
I told her, you should have come down and knocked on my door and slept in my room because you know what? It was quiet. No sounds, no nothing. Yeah. But as soon as I get home, it's a different story.
Uh-huh.
But that's like, I was one more question, Mark. What I was going to say, like, you have kids. Did this type of ability and these weird things happen? Like, I know there's a connection between mother and child. They're growing internally. So did you have these abilities prior, like as a parent, and then you got into the paranormal, or it was just like, no, really came out in the paranormal?
Mine started as a child. And my mother and her side of the family were into the paranormal, so it was all very normal. It was like, hey, mom, I saw this shadow, da 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 da, go past the hallway, and her thing was, she'd say, well, sometimes these things just happen.
Right.
And it was very easy, very easy going. I mean, they didn't make me feel weird, and I just kind of progressed about it. Now, my oldest daughter, she loves her cryptids, but she's not really into paranormal. It kind of freaks her out. My son, he's now starting to get into the paranormal. Things are starting to happen with him, which it's okay. He's just a late bloomer. But my daughter has started that when she was very young, and she's still going with it, my youngest. So I believe she's going to be just like me, that she's just kind of had it and will keep it.
Yeah. And Krista, I mean, I know we had conversations with that too as well. Did you have something similar, or?
Mine too started when I was a kid, but I didn't know that's what it was. I remember seeing my first ghost. I was in high school walking through the hall with a friend, and nobody else saw it. I saw it. Nobody else seen them. So I know now what it was, but back then, I didn't put two and two together, until much later in life.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't, it wasn't ghost hunting, I think, growing up when we were growing up.
Right.
It was more like, again, I'm going to say in search of, and like cryptids and UFOs and a couple of hauntings, but no one thought it was like, oh, there's nothing here. So you got to go to Scotland for the weird stuff, or the Pacific Northwest, or whatever.
Yeah, no.
Meanwhile,
walk around the corner.
So my whole entire apartment building's like that. Yeah. But I've had it since I was younger, and what I thought was an overactive imagination. I'm very creative. Women use both hemispheres, so they're quantitative, and this usually breeds more into the psychic and abilities. That's why women can pick up stuff. Like if kids try to I was just at the library. No, you weren't. You were driving in that car. You were going blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, they just know. I mean, especially moms. Dads, you kind of get away with. Dads are like, where were you? She said she was at the library. I'm like, yeah, no, she wasn't. Moms just have that spidey sense.
Right.
But yeah, what it wasn't an overactive imagination apparently, and I grew into it, and it's just, it is what it is. But I'm just thankful that we all use it for good. Like if this was the halls of justice, I told Donnie Cho he should do like a superhero version of all of you and put you in the League of Paranormal Justice. So we'll see if Donnie, are you taking notes for this one, Donnie? But Mark, you were going to ask the question. It's late, and I want to let these ladies go and hit the Waffle House. Get some or feel better.
Okay. I had maybe a quick kind of answer. Since everyone was just talking about childhood experiences, what happens if you're in a place where you would pretty much expect there to be a ghost and there isn't? You never saw one, peeking out through the little crack in the closet doors to see if you're sleeping. Just stay up late looking for that little bit of evidence, but there was nothing there. That's one of the reasons why I ask questions to learn about it. But I don't have my own experiences. So how do you explain the context is there, but I didn't have an experience?
It happens a lot.
Yeah, absolutely it does. We never go into a location expecting to see or hear anything weird. It just it happens more so than not.
Right.
You most of the time you really are just sitting in a dark room and nothing's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And we try to basically debunk everything. We do, if it has a logical explanation, that's what we're looking for. We have to find every answer to everything that we can before we will say, hey, this is paranormal.
Yep. We
So-
try to,
Okay, that's reasonable.
yeah, and especially like even like private cases that we do, you know, it's not that we don't believe the homeowner, because we truly do, but we want to experience it ourselves. Maybe there
Right.
is a logical explanation for it, you know, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. So we try to you know, get the spirits to interact with us in the same way that they interact with the homeowner.
Right.
And don't, you know, sometimes
Right. You know, in a lot of homes, especially your older homes, they have bad wiring, which is putting off a lot of EMFs.
Yep.
You know, that
Yep.
magnetic field is going to make you a little bit paranoid. It's going to make you think that you're hearing stuff or you're seeing stuff. So we try to first, when doing a private case, we try to eliminate all that stuff.
Mhm.
You know, because with
Yep.
prolonged exposure, God, that fly. Ooh, my daughter let out my dog and let in a fly. Anyway, with that prolonged exposure, you're going to get that.
Right.
And you know, I'm not going to put any of my team in danger by exposing them to you know, that kind of stuff. It's like putting your head in a microwave. I'm not going to let them do that. So, you know, I mean, we just have to make sure that, you know, we're not hearing house noise versus haunted noise.
Right.
Mhm.
And yeah, the fear cage aspect with bad wiring can be really, really bad play on your
Yes.
psyche.
Yes.
That's why another thing, like I think I said to you guys, if someone could have a Geiger counter on it, because you may
Uh-huh.
come up, you know, we don't know if these ghosts, when they appear and they come in or they use the energy, maybe there is some sort of, I'm going to use the word portal, but in the energy expended, it may leave a signature. And if things start popping like that, it'll just tell you if it's bad or not. I mean, I've been
Right.
to some places where I literally, it was so bad. It was kind of like getting 12 chest x-rays a day for the last 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I don't want to keep it too long.
Good.
I can't thank you ladies enough for being on here. Their show, is it 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Central?
Central on Thursdays, and then 7 p.m. Central on Fridays.
Yeah.
Right. So you can catch them. Go to YouTube as well as Facebook, correct?
Just YouTube. We don't do any
Just
streaming
YouTube?
through Facebook. Yep, strictly.
Yeah,
YouTube.
You know, I'm
we use YouTube as our jumping platform. We record everything on there and then send it off to wherever podcasts can be heard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of switching to it because Facebook is pulling down videos anyhow. But
Yeah.
go catch them out,
Definitely.
Blondes and Boos. Just put it in, Blondes and Boos, and you'll get it. You'll get to their main page. Thank you. It's
Yes, thank
always
you
a
for having
pleasure, and I can't wait to thank you in person. Mark-Eddie, thank you for coming here. Next week is Mark-Eddie Day. On the 2nd, Mark-Eddie wrote a book. He just dropped the book, Lakes, Lizards, Linton, and Leverett, the Ohio Valleys, and what the hell was it?
Antiquarians. The old
Antiquarians.
scientists.
There you go. I was like, it's really small. That's another way how you know you're getting older. And what they discovered. When your arms are too short to read things, that's the
Yep.
problem. But
There you
I
go.
thank you.
Can I give a quick shout out real quick?
Yes,
I see
please.
on your Facebook, Dana Stricker, she's a friend, and she will actually be at the Crossing Realms conference. So you
Yes.
guys come and check Dana out.
Hi, Dana.
She's,
Hi, Dana.
yes. Yes.
Welcome to, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what
Third
I'm
Eye
doing.
Live. I appreciate
There
everybody
you go.
stopping by. Yep, I'll be
Yep.
there. And it's just going to be a wonderful time.
Yep.
So, you know, with all the craziness, even though we may have World War III again, that's what everybody's saying.
Fine.
Come to the conference, help raise money for the battered children, make their lives and give them a moment to say the world isn't as bad as you think.
Right.
And if it wasn't for everybody, these beautiful ladies, Krista and Brandi, Blondes and Boos, Mark, Eddie, as well as everybody in this chat. I appreciate you coming in. I know sometimes it's a little bit late, but if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing it. And we always leave on the same song, so it's always been you. Good night. Feel better, Brandi.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Michigan Rob right now. I don't know. You guys got to find that button. Yeah.
You, it's always been you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I've seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you. True love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I have seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you, true love is you. Love is you, true love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I would give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you.